Now in this example, I'm going to show you how to use adjustment layers to do some color correcting. Now, color correcting in Photoshop is very powerful, and there's a lot of tools. And we could find a lot of them under the image adjustment, which there's a whole bunch of color correcting tools here. But you could also do those same ones as adjustment layers in your layers panel. Now, the beauty about adjustment layers is that they're non-destructive. So that means that they're not permanent, and you're not going to permanently affect the pixels of your image, like how they would be as if they were applied from the adjustment here. So adjustment layers are great, and you can use more than one, but you have to be mindful that depending on the amount of them and which ones you're using, they can degrade your image, and they can also contradict other adjustment layers that you're using. So it's just something to be mindful about. And what we're going to do here is color correct this image because it's kind of washed out and bland. And what we're going to do is punch it up a little bit and just do a little bit of color correcting to make this a little more interesting looking. Now the first thing I'm going to start off with is levels, which is one of my basic things that I like to use. And I'm going to adjust the highlights a little bit, and then my gamma. Now gamma is really important for kind of removing a lot of the washiness in your image. And then I'm going to jump out and I'm going to apply a vibrance. And vibrance adds good punch to your color, and it's a useful tool for saturation and vibrating your colors a little bit. That's a little bit too much, a little crazy, so I'm going to dial that back. And I don't know, that's alright. So let's jump out of here. I'm going to apply exposure and kind of reduce the amount of whiteness in this, and that's going the wrong way, so I'm going to bring that back and use the gamma correction to offset that and remove more of that washiness and try to balance it out a little bit to get more color in there and less gray and less white in the image. And then I'm going to do a hue saturation and add a little bit of saturation. This can also be done in the vibrance as well, but for some reason I added it here. And then I'm just going to do a photo filter, which is a really great way to add some warmth or some coolness to your photos. There's a bunch of presets, but I'm just going to stick with this one. Now here we have our color corrected image. And we've got a couple adjustment layers here that are basically color correcting our original image. Now if we turn these off, we can see that there's our washed out colors, and it's not so vibrant, not so punchy, and kind of bland and milky. And then in just a couple minutes we use adjustment layers to punch this up a little bit, make it look a little more interesting. And one of the projects later in this DVD is adding a new sky to this and stylizing the photo a bit more, and look for that.